I just wanted to take a couple of minutes to thank you for watching the presentation with your family or friend, whether you watched it on a video or you actually saw in live presentation by some of our business leaders. Just thank you for taking the time. And I know that most of us want to do some research once we get done to think about whether or not we want to be a customer or potentially part of the incredible opportunity here with Ambit Energy, something that's changed our lives dramatically, and it can also change yours. But let's get into this review, and I've actually got quite a few slides here or different websites here that I'm going to show you. They're actually websites. And what we want to do is we want to help you get through and navigate this maze of information online as far as bad and good reviews about anything. And one of the things we asked you was if you would go home and do some research, that you'd spend a little bit of time looking at the good and the bad, that if you spend 10 minutes looking at the bad, spend 10 minutes looking at the good. And because we can all agree that you can find just about anything bad or good about anything on the internet, right? So with that in mind, what we want to do is we want to help you understand the difference between verified versus unverified and what are reputable and not reputable websites. And before we get into this, I just want to really state one thing here that really puts us in perspective. We have over 1 million customers with Ambit Energy in the United States, Japan, and Canada. And those numbers are growing every day. Of the complaints online, maybe there's 500 complaints, and I may be on the high side, but even if 500 complaints, this represents 0.001% of our total customers that are complaining, which 0.001% is 1/1000th of a percent. This is an incredibly small number. And it's easy to go online and just to type into a Google search engine, Ambit Energy Reviews, and the first thing that comes up, you go click on it. So why don't we talk about that? Let's go in and we're going to go to Google. And of course, Google doesn't pay me a dime for doing any searches or telling somebody else to do searches online. Unlike Ambit Energy, where we actually get paid for referring customers for gas and electricity, and we can also get free electricity and gas, which is an incredible benefit from our company. I don't think any other company actually has that option to do that. But let's take a look and see what comes up with. So most people are going to type Ambit Energy Reviews. We type that into the box, and first thing that comes up is this website here. It's called Ambit Energy Reviews by Consumer Affairs. And we can take a look at that, and that comes up, and first thing that stares us in the face is that Ambit Energy is right there. There's a little shield with an X on it, and it says that we're an unaccredited brand. I mean, what does that mean? Does that mean we can't do business because we're not accredited? This is really misleading. And then at the top here, we have Ambit Energy does not participate in the Consumer Affairs Accreditation Program. Well, if you click Learn More over here, you'll come to find out that you actually have to pay money for this. But let's dig a little deeper here. So we come over here, and this is the first thing you see when you do your Ambit Energy Reviews online. And after you've talked with your friend or your family member, and they've showed you the video, and you're doing a little research, and you come over here and you see this 2 stars, and you say, gee, this company doesn't look very good. Why would I want to get involved with something like that? So what happens is you start to scroll down the website. You see these 1 star, 1 star, 1 star reviews, and you say, I don't want anything to do with this company. I don't know what my friend or family member is into, but this is not for me. You close up your website. They call you up asking you, what do you think? You tell them, no way, I'm not getting involved in business. I don't want to be a customer. And basically, you could have very well excluded yourself from the most incredible business opportunity that will ever come your way, and potentially, if you're only a customer, saving a lot of money or getting free electricity and gas. But let's dig into this a little deeper, and we'll try to understand that what this Consumer Affairs website is. Consumer Affairs is not the same as Consumer Reports. Consumer Reports was a very reputable organization that doesn't accept advertisement. They review products and so forth. And I remember as a kid, I used to read the magazine and the books that used to come from Consumer Reports. I used to love to look at the different reviews for cars. I was into cars. And I also like to look at the different new electronic products that were coming out. And they'd be rated on in the Consumer Reports magazines and books. So, but if we dig into this website, this Consumer Affairs website, there's something that doesn't smell quite right here. So we come over here and there's 36 ratings. There's 495 down here. Why isn't there 495 ratings here to come up with this? There's a ad down here in the corner that says Spark Energy, but it says it's consumer recommended, and it says ad next to it. So let's take a look here. What's going on? So when we pull down this drop-down box of the 2 stars, you notice there's 27 1 stars, 6 5 stars, and a handful, not even a handful of 4 3 and 2 stars. But why is it you come down here and there are 495 energy consumer or Ambit energy consumer reviews and complaints? Why is that? Well, let's see if there's any 5 stars. It didn't seem like there was many on there. Would they have 6 up here in this? So we start to go through. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We keep going. I mean, there's many, many, many 5-star reviews here on the website. What's going on here? It doesn't seem to make sense. 4-star, let's check. Maybe there aren't any 4-star reviews here. Looks like there's a lot of 4-star reviews. This isn't making sense with what's up here in this box. So it looks like what's going on here is they're skewing this to make Ambit Energy look bad because they're not part of their accreditation program. Well, let's talk about this accreditation program. This accreditation program looks more like an extortion program is what's going on here. And that's why people get confused when they see this and they think this is some kind of government or consumer advocacy group when it's not. It's just a for-profit website. It's extorting companies to get good ratings online. They force the bad ratings so that the companies will pay them. You know, $3,000-$4,000 a month. It's a lot of money, according to some of the lawsuits that have been filed against Consumer Affairs. Well, you don't believe me? Well, take a look at this. You can go to truthinadvertising.org. Who's consumeraffairs.com really advocating for? And, you know, in the article it says here, in reality, Consumer Affairs utilizes computer resources in order to puff the reputation of those companies who pay for its services and to deliberately degrade the goodwill and reputation of those who do not. If you don't pay, you don't get a good reputation. That's exactly what this website's about. But you know what? People are skeptical. So you know what? I'm going to take this one step further. I tell people, I guarantee that you're using some product or service and you'll continue to use it and you won't give it up because Consumer Affairs doesn't give it an overall satisfaction rating. So let's take a look. How about cell phones? What do you use? Verizon Wireless, Sprint? That's what most people tell me. Let's type in Verizon Wireless. Let's see what comes up. Verizon Wireless, there it is. We do the search. Once again, Consumer Affairs, unaccredited brand. I guess they're not even supposed to be doing cell phone service. They're not unaccredited. But remember, we're joking here. This is extortion. So Verizon doesn't participate in the Consumer Affairs accreditation extortion program. Look, they have 1.5 stars. I guess we're better since we have 2. But this is based on 703 ratings. We do the drop-down box. Look, they've heavily weighted towards the negative 1 stars. And then we come down here, 5,800 Verizon Wireless consumer reviews and complaints. Well, why isn't the 5,800 being included up here? You see, they're doing a sampling just to make it look bad because they're not an accredited program. But look at, there's another ad down here, Pure Talk USA, and it says consumer recommended. I don't know which consumer recommended Pure Talk. It's an ad. It even says it's an ad. Let's put them into the search box and see what happens. So Pure Talk USA. Let's see what comes. There they are right there. Pure Talk USA. Well, look at this. This is a different looking web page. All of a sudden now we have an accredited brand. There's a little shield that's got a star in it. I guess that's good. It's good because they're getting paid now, Consumer Affairs. You come down here, there's 4 stars. They have 325 ratings, 357 down here. It's pretty close to the 325. And it says up here that Pure Talk USA pays a monthly fee to participate in the Consumer Affairs accreditation program, and they also pay a referral fee for links on our site. Wasn't that amazing? So they actually pay and get paid for having links on the site. Now, if you're looking at this on your phone, I guarantee you wouldn't even be able to read this little tiny lettering up at the top here. I can barely read it on my laptop as it is. And they do this on purpose because they don't want you to actually read this line up here, even though they do it and they say, look, we're revealing what we're doing here. We're extorting people's money. We're extorting companies' money. But we don't really want you to be able to, we're not going to show it to you in big letters. We're just going to make it really small. So you've got an idea about this consumer affairs website. So let's go back to Google. Now let's take a look at Google. Let's just type in Ambit Energy. I mean, here's a good place to some people will start to. They'll just type in Ambit Energy. And when they come up with Ambit Energy, they'll see Ambit Energy. They'll see, oh, there's Wikipedia. You come down, there's Yelp. Of course, Yelp shows 2 ratings. Yelp is non-verified. It's not reputable. It's just people spouting off. It's just like writing in the bathroom stall on the wall. I mean, it's unverified. The company can't respond to it. Google reviews is the same thing. But let's take a look here. Let's go. I mean, Wikipedia seems to be a pretty popular website. And you got to remember, Wikipedia, any of us can change the information on Wikipedia. I can go in here and add something or edit something in the Wikipedia website. But let's go down and let's take a look, because people are gravitating towards the negative. We said we want to look at the negative. We want to balance it with the positive. So what do we see down here? Criticism, consumer advocates. So Ambit Energy has come under scrutiny from regulators and consumer advocates. Well, it sounds pretty official, right? In 2014, a story by Consumer Affairs. Oh, didn't we just talk about Consumer Affairs? Well, let's see what the little pop-up says here. Well, it talks about it's a company, it's a .com company, and it says that it's a government organization or nonprofit organization. So they're telling you right here that they're not a consumer advocacy group. But they put it in this article and they make it look like that it's some kind of advocacy group when really they are a for-profit organization that's extorting companies out of their good money to get good ratings. And this is the way that they're making money online. We come down here, it talks about New York. It talks about that there's been misrepresentations with contracts and financial benefits, and the Public Service Committee received so many complaints about the company. And, they give you some links here. So let's take a look and see what the reality is. I mean, if we were really, really doing what they're saying here and really hurting the New Yorkers, the Public Utilities Commission would either yank our license and wouldn't allow us to actually be in the state. But, I want to be fair here, and I'm going to give you the other side here. So let's take a look at an official document from the state of New York, from their Public Service Commission. So what does it say here? It's pretty straightforward. Public Service Commission denies request of 2 ESCOs, those are suppliers, electric suppliers, to serve low-income customers. Only 1 ESCO received the okay, and guess who that was? Ambit Energy. So what they were saying is, the state of New York, was that during a 30-month period, low-income New Yorkers were overcharged $96 million over what they would have paid with the incumbent provider. I mean, this is wrong. But Ambit Energy was held up as the first and, at that time, only supplier that could market to low-income people in New York. So the further on it goes down, he says, well, the commission rejected the request of the other 2 electric service providers for low-income customers. It recognized that Ambit guarantees that the customer will pay no more for supply service than they would have paid with their local utility for the same time period. So, and they go on, and then finally it says Ambit provided detailed information on its calculations, and the commission staff reviewed the documents and calculations that are confident in Ambit's ability to deliver savings. Is this verified? Yes. Is it reputable? Yes. It's coming from the state of New York. Unless the state of New York is involved in something shady, this is a reputable document that you can use, that you can rely on, not Consumer Affairs and the people rambling on there with their negative reviews and their skewed review system that they have on there. So we took a look at that. Where else can we go online to look for reputable reviews? We just looked at the document from New York. How about let's go to the Public Utilities Commission, the Consumer Council out of the state of Connecticut. Now, the state of Connecticut made a press release, and they said that it looks like there's been some serious overcharges, more than 58 million over their standard service in 2015. This was actually produced back in 2016, and it talks about the different suppliers in the market. We got Eversource and UI Territory. These are the incumbents down there. But if you look at these charts, what reveals to you is there's a lot of red on here. The red's not good. What the red is saying is that all of these suppliers overcharge their customers considerably. And if you look at these numbers down here, you're looking at almost 50 million here and roughly $10 million. So you're talking about close to $60 million, just like they said, $58 million here that were overcharged. Let's look at Ambit. Ambit's in here, but they're shaded blue. What does blue mean? Blue means they actually saved customers money. Now remember, this isn't a document from Ambit. This is a document from the state of Connecticut. So Ambit saved, and it's amongst the highest here actually when you take a look at all of the other blue providers, but not the highest, but they're one of the highest. Looks like they saved almost $500,000 in the Eversource territory. Over here, about almost $680,000, which was on the high end compared to the other. And there's only a few of them here. You see what? We only have a handful of these that actually saved money, and Ambit was one of them. So here we go. We have another verified and reputable source of information. Where else can we go for verified and reputable information? How about we go to the Better Business Bureau website? Now, the Better Business Bureau website, we can go there. We can go into their website, type in Ambit Energy, and what you're going to get is something that looks like this. Hopefully something that looks exactly like this. And Ambit Energy has been given an A+ rating. It's the highest rating that the Better Business Bureau gives. And we can click on the customer reviews. Now, the difference between the Better Business Bureau website is you can add a review, but then you can also get a response from the company, okay? So down here, we've got some good reviews, and we got a couple of not so good ones. And this one here, the company was responded and said, please get back to us. This one here, same thing, and it looks like they're in the middle of working whatever the issue is. It may be valid, it may not. We don't know yet. And, you can get out through here. There's more good complaints. I'm sure if you go down, there's going to be some other ones that maybe are not so good. Looks like there's a lot of good complaints here. I haven't actually looked at all these things. Let's see if we can find another bad one somewhere. I mean, like I said, we want to try to make this a balance so that you are looking at the right information, but it seems like I'm having a hard time finding some bad reviews here on the I guess that's why we have an A+ rating. Oh, there's one there. So here's another one. Just complaining about customer service, and the company has responded. So now this is going through that process of trying to come up with a resolution. So as you can see, this is a website that's reputable. It's verified information. The company can respond, unlike a Google review or a Yelp review where we have no way of responding. What are some of the other places that we can look for information? I mean, we can go to J.D. Powers and Associate website. We talked about the J.D. Powers Award. It's a respected, highly coveted award. Very difficult to get. I mean, you can read all this. I'm not going to read it for you. Basically, I just want to show you this. This is a customer satisfaction study that they did. J.D. Power and Associates. Ambit was #1 in Connecticut. 5 dots here says that they're among the best. I mean, there's nothing else to really argue here. This is J.D. Power and Associates, very, very respected, and it speaks for itself. Now, there's other places that we can talk about and look for good and bad. I mean, you can go to other places online. Let's take a look at some of the issues about lawsuits. I mean, there's issues with lawsuits. I've heard people say, well, there's these lawsuits. And you got to remember, the lawsuit is a lawsuit, but going to trial and actually being found, at fault or guilty is a whole different story. And class action lawsuits seem to be the game of the day with attorneys and law firms because they generate a lot of money. Well, there's been this couple of class action lawsuits against Ambit. and they've been dismissed. No court case has gone to trial against Ambit Energy. There's been several cases that have been dismissed by the federal courts. This one here was absolutely ludicrous, where they were accusing Ambit of all kinds of things, like that they didn't give free energy and they didn't give free travel and all these things, and they do. I mean, I know we know many people that are getting free electricity and also free natural gas. So, and also have taken vacations when we had the travel rewards program. So, this is, you can go on this website, it's top class action lawsuits. But people will tell me, well, I don't want to do business with a company that's been sued. And I said, really? So do you ever do business with a company that's, you'll never do business with a company that's been sued? And they go, well, I don't want to do business with them because they've been sued. I said, well, it depends on whether or not they were sued and found at fault, or whether or not it was dismissed. And if they're dismissed, the court found that there was no fault. But they still have a hard time grasping that. I said, well, I'm sure you do business with companies that have been sued all the time. And they like, well, like what? And I said, well, let's take a look. How about Walmart? I mean, I go onto this top class action lawsuit, and look, there's one lawsuit after another lawsuit after a lawsuit against Walmart. Does this mean you're not going to go shop at Walmart anymore? I very much doubt it. It just means that someone is making a claim against Walmart. It may be right, it may not be right, it may be bogus, and a lot of times these large companies settle because it's just too expensive. The legal fees are more expensive, and it's a business decision, even though they may not actually have done anything wrong. So let's go back and let's talk about some more reputable places to go online. I mean, we can go to our website, and people are going to say, well, this is your website, so of course you're going to put good stuff on there. And I say, well, we can also redirect and go to other places to talk about this. I mean, Dallas Morning News, top place to work, year after year. So obviously there's something good going on there. Inc. magazine calls us one of the fastest growing private companies, second year in a row. If you go to the Inc. magazine article, it talks about us being the fastest growing company. We have a high retention rate for customers that are staying with us. We continue to grow. If we were really doing something wrong, if people weren't satisfied, people don't stay with you. You don't, in a free market economy, you have the right to move and buy whatever you want from whoever you want. And these customers wouldn't stay with us, and we wouldn't continue to be growing and adding numbers to our customer base and people joining our business to earn additional money unless you actually kept the customers and they were happy. So where else can we go? I mean, we've looked at a number of sources already, and as you can see, there's a lot of places you can go online, but it's just finding the right place. Okay, here's another J.D. Power and Associate. This is from Yahoo Finance. This is an article, and they're claiming that J.D. Power reviews are in. Ambit Energy comes away as the overall winner because we've won so many of those awards. And you don't get these awards for hurting your customers. I mean, it's just not going to happen. The customer's not going to write a great review for you or tell J.D. Powers that they had a good experience with you if you didn't. So some of the other places that we can look for other articles online. I mean, look, here's another article out of the Bangor Daily News. This is up in Bangor, Maine. We have a large and growing presence up there. A lot of customers are upgrading their electrical supply to Ambit Energy, and they're saving money under a guaranteed savings plan. But it looks like in this article it says that Mainers spent about $50 million more than they really needed to on electricity. But what's interesting is if you work your way down into these charts here, you're going to find that there's some very interesting charts here. And this chart here is actually the one I want you to look at. They wanted to show how these different suppliers compared to the standard rate. Well, Ambit really wasn't in the business here in Maine, and really the first time they show up is in 2015. But if you look, Ambit Energy actually was actually in the savings. Anybody that's in this column here actually saved their customers money. If you ended up over on this side, you actually cost the customers more money. So as you can see, there's only a couple of actual suppliers in Maine that are actually saving, and in fact in 2015 Ambit was the only supplier in Maine that actually saved anybody money. Everybody else overcharged their customers, and one of the reasons for that is because we have a partnership with Royal Dutch Shell, and because of that partnership we're able to get energy at a better price than most of these other suppliers because a lot of them are only brokers. So what it says here, I mean, in big, bold, black letters, Ambit was the sole provider supplier in Maine with an average price that beat the 2015 average standard offer. And here's a verified, reputable source. The Bangor Daily News is telling people that they save them money. And you can see the chart. I mean, we were the only ones during that time. And now we have a guaranteed savings program in Maine, as we do in many other states. We're continuing to expand our guaranteed savings plan. So there's absolutely 100% that you will save money over your incumbent provider, over your local utility. So if you're not convinced by now, I get a couple other little things that I'm going to show you here. I mean, we're part of the Direct Selling Association, and we have a code of ethics. These codes of ethics are for consumer protection. The code of ethics we have to adhere to, and you can file a complaint if you feel as though we've breached the code of ethics. And I don't see any complaints. We don't have any complaints against our marketing, according to the website right now. So as you can see, there's numerous places that you can go online to actually learn about Ambit Energy. And obviously it usually starts out with that Google search. But like I said, the one thing we want to do is we want to be balanced here. And we ask that you spend as much time looking at the verified good versus the bad. And I think we've showed you the verified and reputable good. And now you have some understanding and knowledge about what is actually bad online and what's not verified online. And as you can see, people can say all kinds of things online, but if it's not backed up with something that they can be verified, it doesn't mean anything. Like I said, it's just like writing on the bathroom wall. It doesn't really mean a lot. So with that, I want to thank you for spending the time to look at this. I know it's been a little bit involved, and I've gone through quite a few websites, but the purpose of the exercise was to help you understand how to get through and really understand this maze of information that is thrown at us every time we go online. And the reality is, you know what? Every time you go on Google and you help them get paid, chances are that the first thing that comes up on their page may not be the information that's correct. So with that, thank you again. We appreciate your time. We appreciate looking at the presentation, the opportunity. That's, like we said, has been an incredible life changer for us. If you have any questions, please get back to the person that showed you the video or took you to the live presentation. And they can direct questions to me, or you can call me directly and ask me any additional questions or concerns that you have about online research or what you found online. With that, thank you again, and we hope to be talking to you and seeing you soon.